So let's talk about the new Giannis comments. If you guys didn't see, Giannis went on a podcast recently, and it feels like now every week we get a new Giannis headline of him basically saying, Milwaukee, you guys need to get better, or I'm going to force a trade, right? What happened now was that Giannis was on a podcast. I don't know which podcast he was on, but I saw the footage, right? And it was basically where he said, like, Milwaukee, I'm here, I'm ready to compete. I love the franchise, but I have to be able to compete in my NBA career. He said, I am a competitor at heart. I love this team, but you guys are not going to make me lose and not be a competitor due to the fact that you guys don't want to be competitive. And honestly, I see where he's coming from. Giannis is a player who has GOAT potential, and in the modern NBA, people are not idiots anymore, right? Like when we see a guy, there's a lot of examples in NBA history of a guy who, because he stayed with one team, his career was heavily hindered, right? And like, it's guys who are in the Hall of Fame who we have high praise for, right? But their careers could have been way better if they had just gone to another team for the vast majority of their prime, right? And we see this with guys like D Wade, right? D Wade is my favorite player of all time, and I am a Miami Heat fan. But it's crazy if you tell me that Dwayne Wade would have not been better if from '07 to 2010 he would have not gone to another team, right? Those 5 years of his career, he was in his prime, he was killing the game, right? And he has no rings or anything to show for it. The reason why, his team. The Miami Heat in that stage were going through a rebuild phase. Everything had blown up in their face. They were happy because they had won a championship. So that's what kept them afloat. The fact that since they had done it, they could actually keep doing it. But that caused them more harm than it did good. Because then when you came and saw that D Wade was this superstar who in 2009 had his best year yet, and you saw him with all these injuries, that could have been probably prevented if you didn't have such a crisis of talent during that time. Now, is that the Miami Heat's fault? Probably not, because let's face it, you cannot expect an organization to be perfect every year, right? Like even the Warriors, they had their time where they just had to humble themselves and be like, okay, we're not the best team in the world anymore, until they came back and won the championship. But in my opinion, the real big thing with Giannis is that he is a superstar. And he is one of the best superstars in the NBA, right? He's consistently shown that he's not just another player, that he wants to compete, that he can win a championship, and that if his team doesn't put anything around him, he will speak out. So you know what that causes? That causes drama. Because now Giannis is forced into a situation where even if he doesn't leave Milwaukee has to do something. In my opinion, they get a 2-year window. But 2 year, and I say that very conservatively, in the sense of that they get 2 years. One to actually compete, which is next season. Just about to start, where Giannis has posted the videos, where they brought back everybody, where we're going to see the fruits of their labor through this offseason, through signing people, through whatever. Like, because last season, let's face it, it was not the best season due to Chris Middleton rehabbing from injury. But now, next season, we're going to be able to see what Milwaukee's been working for. They have a fully healthy roster at the start of the season. And even if an injury happens, you just have to account for these things. I'm sorry, but a lot of people like to act like injuries are just a part of the game. And even if you get injured, we should, not consider that a loss of a season, right? Like, people like to talk about the Bucks last year, and they like to say, oh yeah, the Bucks were great, but their whole team was injured, and it was like, Yeah, their whole team was injured, but that's just another losing season for them. If your team gets injured every season, availability is the best ability. And if we're being honest, the Bucks haven't been very available because if you get guys who get injured every season, that's who you want to put around your league-altering superstar. Then maybe you should get different guys. And I'm not saying that the guys who they have are not good or that they should trade their entire team away. All that I'm saying is that you need guys who can play the games. In 2021, this happened. You got the guys who would be there. And even when someone got injured, it was Giannis, and he rehabbed it in basically a week, right? So, in my opinion, when we really look at the Bucks, right, we should probably get to thinking about what should they do next, right? And I feel like that just comes down to what do they want to do next, right? Like honestly, the Bucks are great, right? The Bucks are phenomenal. They have been an A1 team for the longest now. They've been a team which has consistently been dominant in the NBA, and they're a team which has consistently put themselves into the stratosphere of being one of the best teams in the league. But when we talk about the Bucks and when we talk about what they do, are we really talking about how good they're building around Giannis, or are we talking about how injuries have severely helped them in their trajectory to being contenders in the NBA? Because I don't want to sound like a hater is what I'm trying to say. But if we're being honest, right, like the Bucks have been helped severely by injuries, right? And that's not to throw slide on the Bucks or say this or that, but in most of their seasons where they have had great championship aspirations, right? Especially the year that they won the championship, they were heavily helped by injuries from other players. We could see this with injuries to guys like Kyrie Irving in the 2021 playoffs. We could see this with dudes not getting a fair advantage each season and having to come back next season and make something happen like the Lakers, which had that season in 2021 where they had just won the championship, but Anthony Davis had gotten injured that season, right? And I think LeBron too. And you could see this with a team like the Clippers, which were supposed to win the NBA Finals, right? And I'm saying they were supposed to because obviously they didn't. But I'm saying a team like the Clippers, which was supposed to win the whole thing, having their main superstar, right, get injured so badly that his team lost to the Phoenix Suns 1 year after getting Chris Paul. So when we really talk about this team, the Bucks, and what they do and what they stand for and what we see from them, I think that we just have to look at, can they actually win this thing? You know, I'm sick and tired of seeing the same thing from the Bucks every single season. And it's this thing of we're like, this is the year, guys. This is the year we're finally gonna do it. Yes, we're gonna do it, Bucks Nation. Yada 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 yada. And then playoffs comes around, injury, injury, injury. And it's not even like big injuries. They'll just be like nagging ones. So then you're like, guys, like, I don't know if you guys are doing this, you know, because you guys play your guys too much or whatever. But like the Bucks have to figure something out. And that's why I think Giannis is saying this. Now, to end the video, I also want to make clear that I do not think that Giannis handling this the way that he's handled it is appropriate. Giannis is a basketball player who's on a contract from a basketball team. And if you want them to win, then go talk to the front office. You don't have to do a whole PR media tour where now, you know, you've got the whole world talking about your comments. Like, I understand that this is normal, but it's like, bro, just go talk to the team. You have that type of power. where you could just literally walk up to the front office and make demands. You've won a championship for this team, and you're by far, and I think by far, the greatest player to ever play on this team. When it comes to like what you've done for the team, you've been there more seasons than Kareem, you've scored more points than Kareem, and you've been a better player than Kareem in your time there. So in my opinion, Giannis needs to chill out. He needs to get everything together. He needs to stop doing these media runs, and he needs to talk to the team and go out there and win for a season. Let me know what you guys think about it, and please, give me an opinion on this because this is a topic which I know people are divided about.